All right, Ms. Gail Zintek, great Thursday morning to you.
Great Thursday.
11:11 Eastern Standard Time, a very significant timestamp for the day.
It is. And it just has everything to do with being in alignment with life and health and family and business and yourself, Steve. Taking
And the
ownership.
echo that you're putting out there is reflection of you. Life is not testing you, it is reflecting you, right?
It sure is reflecting. And I kind of like the reflection I'm having today. How about you?
Yeah, I think every day is a great opportunity. Waking up and looking at the evidence, of what life's producing for you, and that you are ultimately the creator of that. So
Oh,
you are let's look at echo, your environment, your consistency, or you can use commitment. I like both of those, but we use consistency, your habits, and then today, the ownership. Those components are a direct reflection of you, because that's what you're putting out, and what you put out comes back to you.
It's like looking in a mirror. Do you like what you see? And if you don't, what are some of the things that maybe you can take ownership of to make changes in your life?
Yeah. And what I want to do, and I know we both want to, we've talked about this on several occasions, but we want to bring clarity. The more clear you are, the more decisive you are, and even the more pain that is associated with looking in the mirror is to the extent that you're willing to take action to change it. And part of that is us allowing expansion. We want to expand you. We want you to evolve. We want you to elevate yourself. And so if we're going to talk about ownership, which is the final component of ECHO, and ECHO was simply an acronym that we had talked about over a year ago during the pandemic, and look what it's come to. Look at the fruition that's been created. And ownership, like, let's talk about what ownership is and really what ownership isn't, because when I think of ownership, I directly correlate it to accountability. And if we're going to talk about accountability today, we want to be able to place that empowerment back into you. We want to be able to have that possibilities, the inspiring possibilities, the greatness that you have within you that we tend to hold in. And if we don't let it go and bring it out into the universe, then it's never going to come back to you. So accountability, what is accountability? What isn't accountability? Because accountability it's probably one of the most understood concepts in life. If you really think about it, think about if you're a sports fan and you have these great professional athletes, and when they are breaching protocol, or they are, violating a policy within the league, what does the commissioner want to do? What's the first thing that they do? They get on the podium and they say, what?
Oh, they say you're fined.
Yeah, well, they say you're fine. They say, we're going to hold this player accountable.
You're accountable.
We're holding them accountable. So think about that with your favorite athlete, or maybe hopefully it's not your favorite athlete, because they should be following the policies, but there's athletes out there, even Olympians that are, using PEDs, and, they again need to be held accountable according to the commissioners and the league regulators. And then you think about even business, because we have a lot of business owners that are watching this. And even from a business standpoint, how many times do we hear people say, we need to hold our people accountable? If they're underperforming, there's poor performance, there's a certain behavior that we need to manage. We need to hold you accountable. So there's this negative connotation with, again, I'm using air quotes here, accountability. But the one that I hear the most often when people really want to create an impact or a change in themselves is they literally say out loud, or they tell me, I just need someone to hold me accountable. Right. And I think we've all said that at one point. So I just need somebody to hold me accountable. So what that basically is telling me is that they're not taking ownership. They're not taking ownership to the things that they told themselves they were going to do, or of the important aspects of what their life is. So those are the situations and conversations that really sort of give you the notion that accountability must almost be imposed, but that's not the case. And it's like a negative connotation. It's not true. That's not accountability. That's consequences. And so I'm not sure if I said this in the beginning, but really what it comes down to is accountability isn't consequences, that's the ownership. And I sort of reverse engineered that. I like to present it more of, hey, accountability, because we have an accountability group. We have a 90-day transformation method. And a large component of that is personal accountability. And see, Gail, you agree with me if you will, or maybe not, but we can't hold anybody accountable. Accountability is self-intentionalized.
It comes from within. And, you mentioned business and kind of speaking from maybe a corporate side, but think of it from the entrepreneurial side, the self-employed, the realtors that are out there. I have a lot of realtor friends that watch this. People in network marketing, they have to take ownership and accountability for their own actions within that. Nobody's motivating them, right? Because motivation comes from within. Motivation pushes. Nobody wants to be pushed. So, I pushed myself. I went for a 4-mile run around my lake today. I pushed myself today. Nobody made me do it. I took accountability. I took ownership that I wanted to increase and improve what I was doing today. And I did it. There was nobody holding me accountable, saying that you have to have a certain time, you have to have a certain pace, you have to do this. Like, that motivation came from within me. You and I are here to inspire the possibilities of what that can mean in someone else's life. And if they take ownership of the small things, we always talk about it. That's what we teach in the transformation method. It's the small things that we take ownership of, and we do it. We've committed to it. We do it consistently. And over time, it creates the habits that are enhancing our lives.
And that creates consistency, ultimately then producing a greater environment around you. So it's all ties in together. It's all attached. So think about that for a second. And what you're saying is, because you're taking your runs, you're doing your eating, your nutritious eating. Is it even possible for someone else to hold you accountable?
No.
I mean, if you think about that, just from a deeper layer surface, is it even possible to hold you accountable? And I heard this saying one time, and I'm probably going to botch it up a bit, but you can hold a baby, you can hold your groceries, but you can't hold somebody else accountable. So it's like, you have to decide on what you're going to take ownership to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a character trait, really. It's a part of our identity. It's a willingness to own your actions regardless of the circumstances. Think about that for a second. It's a willingness to own your actions regardless of whatever your situation or circumstances are.
So what are you saying? That, I'm having a bad moment in this day, that I can't wallow in it.
Well, it's one of those where people will say, I'm just having a bad day. Well, is it really a bad day? Or have you allowed a less than ideal moment in your day to transpire, and you're losing control? You've lost ownership to what the day's responsibility is. So you've just made a decision that it was going to be a bad day because you've let one less than ideal situation downward spiral. Maybe it took control of your thoughts, your beliefs, it took control of, your emotions. So that's really taking ownership. It's recognizing it and bringing awareness so that you can get after the things that you desire to get after, regardless of what has happened or what's happening to you. It's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond and how you take back ownership to what really matters.
And we all believe, I believe, you believe, that life happens for us and not to us. So if we carry that and we trust that to be true, then those less than ideal moments are just moments, and they're not there to define your life. And you might find it might be 6 months, might be a year down the road, and that less than ideal moment that happened to you, that maybe you wallowed in for 3 or 4 days and were so down on yourself about, you find out 6 months from now that was the best thing that could have happened to you. So I believe that we should all just take to that thought of, life is happening for me and not to me. And it's a great space to be in, and it helps you get out of those funky moments much quicker when you believe that and you step out into something, the next thing. Okay, I'm gonna move my attention away from that. It's not serving me right now, and so I'm going to take ownership of what comes next.
Yeah, and here's where the value really comes in with that is, we cannot look at life happening to us, because we often do that too often. And I say we because I fall in that sometimes, but it's just the awareness of saying, all right, is this happening to me or is it happening for me? And the value is when life is happening to you, you become very reactive. You become very defensive. Your emotions don't serve you very well. There's fear, there's anger, there's frustration, there's worry about what that situation or what the future may hold. But when life's happening for you and you're looking for the lesson out of that, you become very proactive. You take ownership back of that less than ideal situation or condition. So it's a very great point that you bring up, Gail, but it's important to understand it's just not the what's, but also the whys and the hows.
So as we go into the second half of our talk today, there's a question, and I want to ask this question because many of you out there, so you've got a little glimpse of what ownership is and what it isn't. It's personal integrity. It's, and before I go into the question, I just want to add that, that personal integrity, doing the things you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do them, even when nobody's watching, that's what's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your self-esteem. It's going to build positive energy into your life. And so here's what I want to ask you. What are you taking ownership of today? So in your life, it's in your health, in your fitness, in your nutrition, like all these things that you might be thinking about that are out of control for you. They're only out of control because you have not taken ownership of them and brought them into a corral. So it could be your business. It could be making those phone calls. It could be your emotional stability. Maybe you just feel emotionally unstable and you want to get control of that. And those lie within your purpose in life and your principles. What is your purpose? And Steve, I know a lot of people, and we talk about this in our transformation method. They say, Steve, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? And then identifying, and we're coming up on the logical level. I'm so excited about this. And I took a picture this morning because I want to show people this is like what you think about is what you bring about. So, okay, in my shower, I have a whiteboard, and this is what I have on my whiteboard in my shower. It is my core values. It's who I aspire of myself to be. I've identified my core values, 7 core values. Thank you, Kevin Hoover, for a worksheet that helped me. And, here's an image. So to define your core values, they're just words, they're characteristics. Steve, you talk to us all the time about identifying our characteristics of who we are and what serves us. So if you need a list of words just to help you to define your purpose and your characteristics of your principles, the values you hold true to yourself, take a list of words like this and then go through them and circle the ones that really resonate with you. And from that, come up with 5 to 7 core values that build on who you are. Mine are kindness, love, commitment, consistency, achievement, inspiration, and abundance. Those are the ones that anything that I do in life, if it has those characteristics about it or those feelings about it for me, it draws me in to that opportunity. So defining your own purpose, defining your purpose. So Steve, talk to us a little bit about that and how that would help us to take ownership for things in our life.
Well, first, let me repeat something you said. I want to make sure I had this right, because if I possibly may have missed it, some others may have as well. But you said what you think about, you bring about.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What a great way of putting it, because we become our thoughts.
Yeah, we are the thinker of our thoughts.
We are, that's, yeah, it's a little zen, but that's certainly deeper. But yeah, if we have a certain thought or a production of thought which produces emotion, and we don't like the emotions that we're currently living in or experiencing, then we change the quality of our thoughts. And how do we change the quality of our thoughts? We simply just change the quality of the questions that we ask and answer ourselves. And that's where that transformation from the inside out begins. So purpose, identifying and discovering your purpose. And I've become a very large believer. I'm going to share a belief with you that we often hear, hey, what is your purpose? Have you identified your purpose in life or on this planet? And then when I really thought about it, what if it wasn't purpose that we're seeking? What if it was purposes, plural?
Mm-hmm.
It has an S on it. Because when you singularly focus on that one pinnacle point that you're trying to identify, it becomes very daunting. It's very overwhelming. We feel very inadequate when we don't have that response that the universe is trying to deliver to us. And we could spend our entire life like a dog chasing its tail, trying to find what our purpose is on this planet and on this earth. But I look at it as purposes.
Kind of like evolving into, you do one thing and then that kind of, back when our parents they worked for 40 years at a job. They clocked in, they clocked out, they got their pension, their gold watch, and that was retirement. And you look now, they're in an occupation, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 years, and then they're changing. And I look at my own evolution in, my life. My purpose was to stay home and raise my children, 25 years, mine and hundreds of other children. And then it was to become a realtor. And then it was to share relationship marketing and how to build relationships with people. And now it's like you and I sitting here on a podcast. So you're right. We have multiple purposes in our life. And, that's why it's summit to summit, party at the summit, because we don't peak. We're always looking if you're either growing or you're decaying.
Yeah.
What's your choice? And so look for the path that leads to your purpose and identifying the characteristics within yourself. Like there might be something that you want to do that you see other people doing, but that's for them. We're not out chasing everybody else's purpose. We can identify with that. And let's face it, in business, if you stand as who you are, if you identify your purpose, you identify your core values, guess what? And you operate in that, who are you going to attract, Steve? People that are just like you. If you attract the people that are like you, that resonate with who you are and what you do, how much more fun is it in life to go through life with the people that are like resonating at that energy level with you?
Yeah, it goes back to the success, right? I mean, success, everybody has their own terminology or definition of success, and everybody wants more success in their life, whatever that means to them. But here's what I can unequivocally say across the board is that, and again, I don't even think this is my opinion anymore. I think this is just what gets delivered to us from the echo that we're putting out there. But success is not something that we pursue. And people try chasing it, and they're going to chase until the day they die. They're going to chase until it kills, or until it kills them, and they almost die. But success is something that it attracts you. It's attracted to you by the person that you're becoming or being. So to the degree that you're going to embrace what ownership is, it's going to affect everything you do. Your ownership, if we're going to wrap this all up into what ownership is, it's going to be to the extent that you're willing to take ownership and define it, by the way. Define what ownership means to you. Whether it's going to be in your relationship, it's going to be in your health, it's going to be in your business, it's going to be in your spirituality, it could be in your mental fitness or your mental health, is to the extent that you're going to execute it efficiently. So it comes down to goals. I mean, it doesn't come down to goals. I mean, if you have vague goals, like vague definition of ownership, then you're going to produce a vague result.
Mhm.
So understanding that the accountability piece is not consequences. Accountability is not consequences. It is purely and solely ownership to creating and living in the actions that are going to produce the quality of the life that you need to live and choose to live or deserve to live.
And that comes down to the transformation equation. R, the R in the transformation equation is accountability and ownership, responsibility, taking responsibility. And then times C squared, commitment and consistency, giving it time. I think that's where so many people fall short, is they don't give it enough time. Once they've identified what it is or who they want to become, and it might be hard along the way, they give up. Don't give up. It's worth it. It's worth it to go through it and give it time. And then, as we've just said, the success chases you. The success, the equation is greater than S. It's greater than your success. Who you become is greater than, because your success is basically who you become.
Mhm.
You are your own success. Own it. Let it shine, baby.
Amen. Outstanding. Well, I appreciate the time that not only you spend with me, Gail, but others that are, watching and in the audience. And so that concludes our E.C.H.O, acronym and what it really stands for. And we'll be happy to answer any questions or how it's resonated with you, or what have you taken away from it? How could it be implemented into your life? And so this is where the impact really happens, so that we can help you elevate and evolve and execute more efficiently in your overall life.
Right. And next week, I think we've discussed going the transformation game versus the weight loss game.
Ooh,
So
let's get after it.
you're getting after that one next week. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, if
Be
you're ready to
surprised.
go,
Say, let's go.
let's go. Appreciate you.
We're
Get after
out.
it.